You are in the most fascinating energy right now. You are going from this journey of knowing that you have so much to accomplish and you went out on this large quest to accomplish these really big goals. I'm hearing master of all. I'm hearing something about what you had to do or what you want to accomplish forced you to look into so many different areas of life, so many different topics, but you also had to work on so many different parts of yourself, right? So much of this journey has been you over here and you over here and you over here and learning this lesson and breaking this habit and breaking this pattern and then building this thing up. It feels so scattered, but you did everything in the right timing. And yet there's been so much worry or concern that's come up, and I'm hearing not all of this is yours. Not all of this came from you. And that could go as far as to say your inner critic is the voice of your childhood bully, or maybe there's voices or limiting beliefs that you have been raised with that no longer reflect what you really think, but they're still kind of in your head. There's something about this doubt circling, this anxiety circling, and having constant feelings of going back and forth between being excited and being motivated and wanting to share and do so much, and then feeling so lost, or feeling am I doing the right thing, right? Being really excited and maybe even taking really bold and courageous moves, and then almost dealing with it from a place of isolation, or not always sharing the vulnerability that it brings up with other people. If you are sharing it with a few people, then there's maybe a deeper layer that you are still kind of processing and going through yourself. And you don't have to immediately share this with other people, obviously, but allow yourself to express what's coming up for you. And also, I feel it's not so much that you need to double down on the healing journey in these areas, especially with it being the 9, and then also the 10 of Swords came up in this as well. So I feel these things are coming up for you to recognize them and fully let them go. You're not stuck in this energy and you have bigger things to accomplish. I have the Magician, the Judgment, and the Judgment card, and then the Queen of Wands. You have bigger things to do and to accomplish, but you've also been so used to all these different thoughts and all these doubts and fears controlling you and holding you back for so long that it's almost easy for you to give them your power. And they're coming up this way for you, like I said, to be able to recognize them, but also as an awakening, a call, because healing, so much of healing is connected to accountability, right? You can't be on a healing journey without allowing yourself to be accountable. And you are coming to terms with okay, what's the deeper sacrifice of me feeling this way? What is the actual impact of me spending so much time in this doubt and fear? What is actually coming up when I allow these limiting beliefs to run the show, right? And there's kind of a sense of you are, because your power or because your energy or your effort is being put towards these things, or even put towards convincing yourself not to believe in these things, it's actually taking the focus away from you taking the actions that you need to take, right? It's if you are doubting, for example, this video, if I'm sitting around doubting this video and doubting how it's going to do and being so worried about that I either half-ass it when I make it, or I don't make it at all, or procrastinate on it, then that is me letting my doubt and fear get in my own way, right? I can be scared and still be recording it anyway, or still show up consistently, because that is what I want to do. That is what is within my nature to do, right? So it's not about not ever being scared, but it's about how can you commit to the greater goal regardless of how you feel, and not letting those things take that power away from you. Okay, I started shuffling and I got the reverse 6 of Wands. I just started shuffling, so that's why I wasn't recording, because I keep losing my videos, and so I'm recording little bits at a time. But the reverse 6 of Wands, okay, reverse Page of Cups and reverse Page of Wands. Okay, there's something here about, let me think about this for a second. Okay, I kept shuffling for a clarifier card, and I honestly was asking can you make it a major arcana card so I know where this is really going? And I got the Death card upright. Okay, so again, the cards that we just had were the reverse 6 of Wands, the reverse Page of Cups, and the reverse Page of Wands. And this is interesting. Part of what I'm seeing here in this reverse card is validation, right? Letting this idea that you need validation from outside people to like reinforce what you're already doing. Because the thing is, like I said, you have been bold, you have been making the moves, but at the same time, a part of you is like waiting to hear back from other people, and you see the dichotomy, like you see the opening where you're like, no one's gonna come if I have nothing to offer, so I'm creating something to offer, but at the same time I'm like telling myself it's not good because people aren't here. And so there's this like back and forth kind of energy where you have to balance, like, okay, what do I want to bring people to? How can I set the vibe? How can I set the intention? How can I create like an atmosphere for other people to come in and like be welcome in this space that I'm creating? I just saw 111 on the timer as well, and something that's coming up is obviously a lot of this is heavily connecting to career, but even around family or creating a chosen family or creating community, the same kind of thing comes up where it's like maybe you're looking for community, but what you actually have to do is like start building what you want to see, right? So wherever that resonates in your life of something that you're like waiting to happen externally, you're breaking that cycle and instead being the one to build it first. And that's always been maybe like an insecurity of yours, like you don't like to go first, or being a black sheep, maybe you've probably been judged a lot, and so it's scary to go up there and be like the loudest or be the boldest, but that is part of your assignment. Looking at the reverse page of cups, I also just keep hearing the word wallow. And so something about like you have really had to go to the depths of your emotions in order to purge, right? A lot of that inner child stuff, a lot of that like dealing with neglect, dealing with shame from childhood or from other experiences when you were younger. Like there's been a lot in your healing journey, as there is in most of our healing journeys, where we are going back and we are like sitting with ourselves and feeling the pain and feeling the grief of our past that we weren't able to feel back then. But there's also kind of an ending with that cycle now. Like you have done so much of that work, but now it's almost like that work has become comfortable. It's become comfortable for you to sit inside and kind of cocoon yourself because you've had to do that in order to process your healing for so long. And that served its purpose. But like, while that was kind of the greater theme of maybe the last few years, I'm hearing 5 to 7 years, take it, how it resonates for you. But that timeline, you've been spending so much of that time with that healing kind of at the core of what you were doing, and it had to take a further precedence because not only were you healing in the present moment and learning how to act differently and do things differently and break cycles, but you had to go back and process, like I said, so much of the unprocessed stuff from earlier in your childhood. So what you're doing now is like, okay, I have moved through so much of that, I cannot let that be forever. Like your whole life can't be your like processing your healing from the past. Do you see what I'm saying? Like at a certain point it kind of catches up to where you are, and things always cycle through. Things will always come back up, but let that happen naturally instead of like staying in this comfort zone of looking at the past. Something that also kept I just got like kind of a annoying text from one of my family members, and like of course that would happen during this reading, so sorry if I got caught off guard there. But yeah, you're letting yourself not wallow in those emotions and not sit in there too long, because you now have so much, like you've integrated so much of that, but also the point of this new chapter is further integration, right? Like with the Queen of Wands, this is a card of action. Even with the Knight of Pentacles and this being a little bit more of like one of the stable and slower paced knights, they're still on a journey. They still have a trajectory. They're still moving forward, and that's the key, is moving forward. The Death card and like the 9 of Swords and the 10 of Swords are all here to represent the end of a cycle, right? To represent the end of these things kind of getting the best of you. So with the Page of Wands, like I'm also, okay, this is what I'm hearing, procrastinating. Not just procrastinating, but procrastinating and perfectionism. Those two things have really like kind of had you in a chokehold in this journey of what you're trying to create. Again, this could be with love. This could be with the family that you want to create, the life that you want to create overall. This could be in career. But there's been like an idea of like it has to look this way, and possibly because you didn't have what you wanted for so long and you had to settle for like the experience that your family was giving you, or settle for this feeling of like not being good enough. Now maybe there's like a little bit of overcorrection and feeling like everything has to be perfect or you're settling. Everything has to be a 10 out of 10 at all times or it's not enough. And not only do you maybe like put that on other people, but it feels like that pressure also boomerangs back to yourself, and you kind of force yourself to like be perfect, be on 24/7. Like you maybe still guilt yourself when it comes to the ability to rest. I just saw 155 and 156, and those both seem significant. And but that constant feeling of like guilt is really coming up because it connects to that doubt and that fear that we were talking about earlier. Perfectionism isn't just the desire to be perfect, it's the shame of actually not being perfect. And so it's not so much like, oh, I need every little detail to be so good and like I'm so cute and I'm so detail oriented. That's not what it means. What it means is I shame myself when I fall short. And that measurement or that measuring stick of falling short is like to the moon, right? Like I have so little ability to forgive myself. I have so little ability to show up as imperfect or to show up as not fully polished. And like even for me that was coming up, right? Like I didn't have a lot of time today, so I showed up in like casual clothes and like not probably like not the best setup or whatever, but that perfectionism was coming up and I had to counteract it and be like, no, like show up and show up with your energy, not what the setup or the background looks like, not you having to have like perfect makeup and hair, like that doesn't matter, but like show up with your energy. And so that's the same thing that I'm seeing with this reading and with your energy. It's like you don't need to learn more, right? Like you need to just start doing. And yes, you're going to learn along the way, but stop procrastinating. Stop asking perfection out of your partner or who you want to be. Like you can have a list, you can have, obviously standards, but what's the measuring stick that you are putting up for your partner? What's that measuring stick that you're putting up for yourself? What's that measuring stick for what's good enough, right? A good enough life, a good enough job, a good enough person to spend your time with, a good enough family, like a good enough place to live. What does all of that really represent and where is it all coming from? And having a moment to check in with that is important because you ultimately are being called to let those things go when it comes to like not letting yourself see how good you actually have it. So maybe a gratitude practice is something that's really coming up in this moment, and that can be like a really beautiful antidote to fear, like be the need to be perfect, basically. And so allowing yourself to actually see what you have and how that's serving you. Maybe you don't have your dream job or your dream career, but like you're able to pay the bills and do something fun every once in a while, even if you have to save up, even if you have to plan for it, right? Like what are all the things that are actually supporting you? And I saw this quote earlier this week and it was something about like not turning your back on the people that have actually like loved you and been there for you. And again, it was like an internet quote, so I'm not going to say that's like perfect life advice to live by, but something about like recognizing the things that have shown up for you, right? Whether that is a job, whether that is a boss, whether that's your car that's not perfect, whether that's your apartment that isn't luxury but it keeps you warm and keeps you safe. Like what are all the things that you do have, and being able to recognize those aligns you more with what it is that you want to create. Because yeah, just because it aligns you with what you want to create. Because if you're not grateful now, then when you get more, who's to say you'll be grateful then, right? It's a practice, and it's a practice of perception and recognizing what it is that you have. Okay, let's get to this card. Okay, so during that last spiel, I was shuffling my self-care frog deck. I love it so much, and this is the card that came up. Let's read it together. Okay, it says, today is filled with infinite potential and possibility. Oh my god, how cute! I cannot. I'm obsessed with these. Oh my god, I love it so much. Okay, so yeah, today is filled with infinite potential and possibility. That's really kind of touching again on this idea of like, what do you want to be and where do you want life to go? And this idea of like you not being good enough and wanting to learn more, wanting to be perfect, wanting that validation to show up outside of you, like we talked about earlier, wanting to wallow and not show up in your power in this moment. All of those things are connected to like are connected together, and it's the opposite of your potential and possibility, right? So this affirmation card is reminding us like you like don't underestimate yourself and allow yourself to show up fully and to look forward to the potential, look forward to the possibility. If you tell yourself life starts here, life starts now, and you stop waiting, you all of a sudden step back into your power and have a lot more that you are able to create. You have a lot more that you're able to go for. Okay, this is the second Frog and Toad card that came out. I think I'm going to shuffle for a third. And it says, I do not expect perfection from others, so I will not expect it from myself. Stop. What did I say about perfection coming up in this reading? That is so aligned. And so again, like looking forward, having potential, having possibilities, seeing that you're starting here, not that you're waiting to be good enough to start, not that you're waiting to be good enough to be recognized, right? And also not expecting perfection from other people or from yourself, allowing us to. Okay, I went to pick up this deck and the bottom card got stuck, and I kind of feel like this is our card, so I'm not even going to shuffle. Let's read it together. I give myself permission to be the person I want to be. Okay, yes. And look at the cute little rainbow. Yeah, it's like decide on who you want to be and allow yourself to go there and stop seeing the reasons that you fall short, and instead see the ways in which you want to grow. See the habits, right? Like so many of us are like, okay, well, I'll be my best self when I have a six pack, but instead change that mindset to the habit itself. I'm my best self when I'm going to the gym. I'm my best self when I'm living an active lifestyle, right? It's about recognizing the habit, not the end result. And a lot of black sheep as a whole, like we have an attachment to black and white thinking or all or nothing thinking. And all or nothing thinking is also one of the side effects of having of being a perfectionist, right? So you're like, I'm either 100% successful or I'm a failure. I'm either doing it all or I'm doing nothing at all and I'm worthless, right? It's like that constant dichotomy. And so when we talk about like recognizing the habit, that allows you to be in a growth mindset, which allows you to see your growth, see your progress, recognize that as the important part instead of being so focused on just the end thing that you want and seeing yourself as not good enough until you reach that end goal. Okay, my love, so we are going to end with a little spirit animal wisdom from that card. So let's see what animal comes up for us. I'm feeling like at least one or two cards will come up. The Otter, initiations. Oh, there's two cards. Okay. Otter, initiations, be open through this transitional time. I love otters so much. They are so cute. And then let's read the next card and then we'll get into both of them together. Hedgehog, acceptance, embrace who you are. Look at this little guy. Okay, yeah, so the otter and the hedgehog. First of all, these are kind of small animals that make a big difference, right? Small animals that really impact their environment and are important to the ecosystem. But so I kind of get the idea of like, you might see yourself as small or you might see yourself as insignificant because you don't have X, Y, and Z behind you, whatever that measurement stick is for you, but you are making a difference. You are making an impact, right? And so focus on that. Focus on showing up and focus on like the energy that you want to bring to the table. And I know it's hard sometimes when it doesn't feel reciprocated, but that is part of like the work right now. And also just being open, right? Initiations, be open through this transitional time. That's what the otter says right here. And so what I'm seeing with this is like, again, that portal, that death card that came up, and then the magician coming up right after it. And the Queen of Wands as well. Like you have the ability to create what it is that you want. That is like here for you, right? And I've been saying that in a lot of my readings for a while, like the soil is fertile, and I keep hearing that, like the energy is ripe for you to create what it is that you want, but it's up to you to see if you are willing to like recognize that in the moment, right? Like you could again say like, oh, well, I'm working on my dreams, but I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. That could be the story. Or you could say, I'm working on my dreams. Like, look what I did today. Look at the progress I made, right? Again, that growth versus fixed mindset, but the ability to see the potential, as we saw with the frog card, and see the possibilities, and do that by letting go of the old and bringing forth the new. And with otters as well, like they do hang on to each other so they don't lose each other, but they move through the water. They are playful, they're quick, right? They're not so focused on like, how do I do this? And like, they're not like the worry wart, right? They are are social and they are connected to others and they are in community and they are joyful and playful and present. So, how can you adopt more of those qualities into your day to day life, right? And then, even with the hedgehog, acceptance, like that idea of not constantly measuring yourself and allowing yourself to accept where you are and accept your shortcomings. Even with the growth mindset, you can still look at yourself as if you have to you can even with the growth mindset, you can still focus on perfectionism, right? To see if you're there yet. So you could say, yes, I've made progress. Yes, I've done this, but like my end goal is to be perfect. My end goal is to have everything like done a certain way, done a certain, like on a certain timeline. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can still have a growth mindset, but have these impossible standards for yourself. And so what this is saying is like, maybe you're not the best at XYZ. Maybe there's a part of your goal or something that you want to create in this life and you just have a shortcoming when it comes to that. It doesn't mean that you can't achieve that goal. It doesn't mean that you can't be creative, but allowing yourself to accept where you are gives you, again, power back to say, okay, well, if this is something that I'm really bad at, maybe I need to delegate. Maybe I need to get someone on my team. Maybe I need to find a software or create a system so that it takes the pressure off of myself. Maybe like I'm gonna never be able to be the person that can cook for my family, but that's something that I have to offset in a different way, right? Just accepting where you are instead of constantly trying to change everything about you so that you are perfect or so that you measure up to some imaginary goal. That is never going to feel good. And again, like, what are we doing that for? What are we trying to prove, right? Like, where is that desire coming from? And so detaching ourselves from that and saying, even if I'm not there yet, I'm still accepting where I am right now. Even if I'm not where I want to be, I still love where I am right now. And that's actually the phrase that every EFT session starts with as well, like tapping on yourself and saying, even if I'm not there yet, I still love and accept myself, right? Like those things, shoo, ugh, those things are so beautiful. Like in terms of those things are such beautiful reminders for ourselves because that acceptance is so powerful. It allows us to still be confident showing up even if we are not at the end place yet, but also, like I've been saying, coming back to that end place and checking in with yourself to see, where is the standard impossible? Where is the standard unrealistic? Where is the standard not reflective of who I am? And how can I show up even to my mistakes, even to my downfalls, even to my natural patterns with acceptance and with forgiveness instead of forcing myself to look like something that someone else made up as the definition of success. All right, I hope this reading served you. If you would like a one-on-one reading, I have a few sessions still available in July. You can book them at blacksheepexperience.com. I also have a couple of self-worth coaching sessions available. I think I have 2 left in July, so that is at blacksheepexperience.com as well. And with that being said, I love you so much. Remember that you're worthy whether you believe it or not.